We all think that our own baby is the best baby. Our own baby or our grandbaby or our niece or our nephew. We just feel that there's no other baby to compare. And that's how the fisherman and his wife felt about their little baby boy. He was perfect. He napped when he was supposed to nap. He fed when he was supposed to feed. And he pooped in his diapers when he was supposed to poop in his diapers. He was a perfect baby. And the fisherman, unlike many men of his time and place, was so in love with his baby, he couldn't get enough of his baby. He would take the baby out for walks. He would feed the baby when he was old enough to take solid food. He even prepared the food for his baby. He even changed the diapers. He even washed the diapers. He was an amazing father for an amazing baby. So the two of them just got along very, very well. The fisherman's wife was delighted to see her husband so in love with the baby that she knew was a perfect baby. Well, one day, the fisherman's wife received word that her father was quite ill and he needed someone to look after him. And she was distraught. What was she to do? Who could take care of her baby? She couldn't bring the baby with her. She couldn't bring the baby into a home where there was fever and illness. And her husband said, "What do you mean? Who's going to take care of the baby? I'm here. I'll take care of the baby. Don't I take care of him every day as it is? We'll get along fine. Don't you worry. Go to your father. Go and take care of your father, and the baby and I will be just fine." So with a light heart, or as light as her heart could be in her worry for her father, the fisherman's wife went off to care for her sick relative. And the fisherman and his baby had a lovely day together. They went out for a walk. The baby napped, as he always did when he was supposed to. He had his diaper changed because he pooped when he was supposed to, and everything was fine. They spent the night together, and early the next morning, the two of them woke up when there was a knock on the door. And the fisherman went to the door, and there was one of his friends, another young fisherman. He said, "Say, look what a perfect day it is." And the fisherman, holding his baby in his arms, looked out onto the water, and it was a perfect day. The sun glinted on the waves. There seemed to be hardly any wind. It was a perfect day. "I don't think we'll get many more days like this," his friend said. "Come on, let's go. We have to go out fishing." "I can't go fishing. I have my baby to take care of." "Well, isn't there someone you can leave him with? Where's your wife?" "Oh, she had to go care for her father." "Well, I don't know what you're to do." "Maybe you could take the baby with us." "Does he sleep well?" "Oh, he sleeps perfectly, and he's been in the boat before." So the fisherman decided that he would bring the baby out fishing. They wouldn't stay out long. And he wrapped the baby in a warm blanket and carried him down to his boat and made him comfortable among some ropes and other things in the boat that were soft and not too knobbly. And he rowed out onto the waves, and they gently rocked the baby, and the baby fell asleep. And it was a fine day, and they did catch a lot of fish. But there was a change in the weather. A cloud came over the sun, and they knew they had to get to shelter, that there might be a storm. And they rowed into a little cave where the two men had played when they were little boys. And they found a shelf in the cave, and they put the baby on the shelf, wrapped him up carefully. And they went out to see what was happening when the waves got bigger and it began to rain, and the wind blew. It was a horrible storm. And the fisherman tried to get back to the cave to his baby when a large storm came and capsized the boat. And the next thing he knew, he was waking up on the beach. And he looked up and he saw his wife looking down at him. "Where's my baby?" she said. Where is my baby? And her voice screamed above the howls of that storm. And the two of them went home and closed the door of their home behind them, and they could hear that storm raging on through the night. For 2 days, the storm raged. Their neighbors came to comfort them and offer kind words, but the fisherman and his wife couldn't hear what the other people were saying, and they had no kind words for each other. They had no words for each other, each alone in their grief. At last, the storm spent itself, and the sun came out, and the waves calmed. And the fisherman's wife said to her husband, "Now you go out. You go out and you find my baby." And he did. He went down to the shore and he got in his boat and he rowed out to the cave. And when he went into the cave, he saw on the shelf where he had placed the baby, he thought, for safety, and all he could find there was the baby's blanket. He took the blanket and held it. What could he do? He couldn't bring just the blanket home to his wife. He looked around the cave, and there was a seal that was nursing her young. And the fisherman turned to leave that cave when he heard a splash, and he looked again and he saw that seal swimming away. And there on a rock was no seal pup, but his own little boy, with the milk of the seal around his lips. And the fisherman went to his baby and wrapped him in the blanket, once again placed him in the boat and rowed home. And when he arrived at their home, he handed the happy, gurgling, sweet little boy to his mother and told her everything that had happened. And they say to this day that the people of that village have never killed a seal since. And that's the story of the fisherman and his baby.
Oh, thank you, Claire, for sharing that with us.
Well, thank you, Kate.
But that middle part of the story really was, oh no, baby's in the cave for 2 days and then there's just his blanket. But you promised there'd be a sweet part and softness at the end, so I hung in there with you, and oh, so thank you for taking us back to the old country and one of their folk tales. Okay, so I'm stopping the recording now.